Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining in on the stream. Thank you so much, Hunter, Raphael, Bill, Slick, Click. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Let us know what stocks you're watching this morning. We have AMD and Facebook moving up nicely. AMD reported some pretty good earnings yesterday. Facebook's actually just moving up in after hours. They actually report earnings pretty soon. I think they report earnings. What is it, later today, Tom, or tomorrow? I think
Yeah,
it's
let me go ahead and check on the 15-minute chart really quick. It is after close today, but they actually just hit a big red candle on this 1-minute chart, actually, and now they're coming down right before open, unfortunately.
Yeah, looks like a lot of selling pressure right before open, and even with AMD a little bit, if we look at, like, let's say the SPY, it's not moving down too much, but yeah, that definitely is a pretty big red candle. I'm trying to see if there's any catalyst with it. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything on the news tab, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting catalyst. We have, let's see, we have hot sauce thing. GGII, check this one out. You won't regret it. The run starts today. So GGII. So this stock's like 1 penny. So we don't really trade penny stocks, but hopefully it pops if you're in it. Yeah, we don't really trade penny stocks, but it has been uptrending pretty nicely over the past week or so. So hopefully it pops for you. Then
And it
we have
is up in pre-market a little bit.
yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely in pre-market a little bit. That's good to see. Then we have Matthew saying thoughts on MA. So let's take a look. We have Mastercard right here. Overall, it looks well. They actually have earnings pretty soon, so I'm not sure if you're looking at this for like a pre-earnings run-up. We never play earnings, but yeah, I'm not sure what you're looking at. It is like creeping up in after hours a little bit in pre-market, so maybe we'll see a continuation to the upside today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, MasterCard and a lot of these banks are actually up in pre-market, which is pretty nice to see. And overall, there's a lot of pressure on banks over the next couple days with these interest rate decisions and stuff with inflation coming out. So just be careful. I think it's going to affect the banks pretty hard. But market just opened. We're seeing some green candles now out of MasterCard. And let's go check out that SPY. And the SPY's going green. And I wonder if we're going to hit new highs today on this.
Yeah, man, I'm curious. We're really close. So the SPY broke all-time highs in pre-market. Yeah, yesterday morning, the all-time high was $418.50. We are like, what is that, like 60 or 70 cents away? So, we're getting really close. I know that there's a lot of mixed movement. We saw Microsoft tank in after hours after they reported some great numbers. So, I think we're definitely in for an interesting day, especially with Powell and everything. I was actually looking to sell some puts on Microsoft. Let me pull it up real quick. The problem is these puts aren't even up. So Microsoft is down 2.5%, but these weekly put options are down 50%. So it looks like I'm not going to be selling my puts today.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just updating a position really quickly on JP Morgan. Looking very nicely this morning, but yeah, the SPY's looking very good. The overall market's looking nice. Let's go check out Tesla. That was a big mover the past couple days. Looks like they're coming back up to that 700 support at open, or 700 resistance now, I should say, as we passed below that in pre-market, which was terrible to see for Tesla traders, but overall, a good opportunity to buy Tesla here around 700 or just under as we hit that in pre-market. And I wonder if this 700 is going to pose as a good resistance level today, but it looks like we're breaking above it right now. But it is a volatile candle that's going green to red very quickly. And I think it's just going to be a very interesting day overall with Powell speaking at 2 p.m. And I think that's going to be the main factor today. So honestly, I was looking to see some selling pressure first thing in the morning with this stuff coming up later on, but it looks like we're seeing green out of the SPY. Well, it's starting to turn back over now, but overall, just a very volatile day, and we're almost down to open prices now at this point.
Sounds good. And then we have Cody saying, what are your thoughts on Coin? So this is the Coinbase IPO, or technically the DPO. But yeah, I like them. I have a very, very far out of the money cash secured put on this one. I think it's like the 200 strike put that expires this week. So long story short, I like it. I'm not gonna buy in when it was at like $400. So I'm just kind of waiting for it to pull back. I would probably start to enter maybe around, or at least get some cash secured puts right around like when it hits 250 maybe, or like 240. That's just my opinion. It might fall It might never hit 250, and I might just miss the opportunity, but I like it for the long term. I know ARK has been buying a lot of shares of it lately. I think they're in an amazing sector, and they'll continue to do very well. Personally, I'm just waiting for a lower entry price. What do you think?
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's unfortunate to see like these couple red candles here on coin, and it's hard to see because there's not much data on the stock yet. But overall, I'd want to get it a lot lower as well. If I got it at lows at maybe 280, I might consider that pretty good. But anything above 300 is not the best pricing right now, I don't think, especially with what's going on. We're gonna have to see Bitcoin, I think, really explode up to see coin kind of, I think, hit maybe 430 or go up even higher to like 500, like a lot of people are saying. And I just think that's I think we're pretty far out there. I think Bitcoin might have to hit like 70 or 75,000 before that does happen. So just keep in mind that Bitcoin's going to have a lot of influence on coin as well. But overall, I'd like to get it lower. And for the longer term, I'm just going to let this chart play out rather than get it right here because, like Mike said, it could always go way lower. And before they IPO'd, they were valued, they were supposed to IPO around 250 a share. So just keep that in mind also.
Yeah, that's the thing. So they were expected to IPO right around $250 a share, just like you said, and then like they open up and like a couple minutes later they're at $430 basically. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna pay this price. So I'm just kind of waiting it out. And I know that we had like a kind of similar scenario with Airbnb when they IPO'd. I forgot what they were expected to IPO at, maybe like $100 or $80 or something like that, and then they IPO'd and they like ran all the way up to like what is it, like 160 almost, and they came all the way back down to like 121. So I'm just gonna be watching it. Overall, I like it for the long term though. Just looking for a lower price. And then we have Flick saying he's watching crypto this morning. So yeah, I just pulled up Bitcoin. It's sitting right around like 55,000. Not really doing too much. It looks like it has a lot of chop in that area. How's Mara and Riot doing, Tom?
Hang on, I'm just updating that position again.
All right, yeah, no problem.
Lots of stuff going on today with our positions.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's see. So Mara and Riot, I'm gonna pull them up. Yeah, they're not really doing anything. Looks like we're just seeing a lot of consolidation. We have Jerry saying Neo is down 1%. So let's see. NIO. Yeah, looks like they're bouncing off of that.
There we go.
That support, like right around $40.50. That opening was pretty scary. See how it dipped down a little bit, but looks like it's definitely bouncing off support right now. What do you think?
Yeah, that open was looking terrible actually, below the SMAs and everything, but now it's just rocketing right back up, which is nice to see. I wonder if Tesla and the SPY is doing this. Let's go see Tesla. Tesla is actually not moving the same as NEO today, so it looks like NEO is the winner out of the two EV stocks, and I really like this one above 41 today. Hopefully it can hold and keep going. We are getting close to some of those resistances that were the lows of yesterday, so just watch out. We might not break those, but it looks like NEO's having a very good day running up, and I wonder if there's some catalyst or something behind this. I'm gonna look on my Thinkorswim news here, and I don't see anything too big. It says NEO to announce Norway expansion plan on May 6th, so maybe that'll be a pretty good thing on May 6th, but at the same time, it is just Norway, so it's not like they're expanding to, Japan or something huge like that, but it's always good to see growth, though, out of these companies.
For sure. And then we have Hunter saying Pins took a spanking. So yeah, it actually did, though. It's down around 12.5%, which is, you know what, Hunter? I think this is actually a good idea for cash secured puts. Let me take a look at this one. I actually might sell cash secured puts on it pretty soon. If we see like a red day again tomorrow, I think I might go pretty far out of the money with the cash secured put. Oh, wow. Yeah, these weekly put options are up. I mean, I was actually expecting them to be up a little more. So Pins is down 12.5% today. In the weekly puts are only up 30%, 150%. Some are up like 200%, but I don't know. I was kind of expecting them to be up a little more. You know what I mean? Almost a 13% drop.
Yeah, it was that IV crush on earnings, I think. But man, like you said, a stock goes from $78 down to $67, and the puts are only up that much. Like, you would expect them to be up a lot more. And whenever we saw an earnings beat this week, like on Google, for example, some of those calls flew up a lot more than these puts went up. And it just has to go to show you guys that that options pricing is a huge deal.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look at Tesla yesterday. I mean, the calls and the puts just got killed yesterday. Tesla right now is down 0.9%. So I'm sure the weekly options are down again today too. I mean, the calls are down a good amount. The puts are up very slightly, but yeah, that options pricing can definitely be pretty interesting. And then with the next question, we have Muscle saying, took a chance and added to my AMD position before close yesterday. Boom. So let's look at it. Up around 2.5% today. That's awesome to see. They definitely had a pretty good quarter.
Yeah, for sure. They're pulling back right now, though, unfortunately. Hopefully they can hold this like 87.50 support. The high of yesterday was around 87.16 to 87.20, so be careful. I think we're getting close to a good level to maybe bounce and head back to the upside. That was a pretty good move on earnings, and they did have good earnings as well. I'm gonna have to read more into what the outlooks looked like and stuff like that for it, but it's not good to see this red coming back down today. But good thing he added to his position before close. He's still up on it quite a bit from at least that perspective, but it is coming down pretty hard today, actually, coming very red. So hopefully we can hold 87, or else it's going to look like we might keep coming back down to 86, or maybe even like the close of yesterday around 85.50. This is just an insane move out of AMD, and man, these earnings sometimes lately have just been killing people. I mean, look at this IV crush today going all the way down to 42% as well on this drop. I mean, man, anyone who held calls here would have been hurt a little bit too. I'm going to go check them out, but man, it seems like it would just be a bad situation overall, and this is why I don't like to play earnings right here.
For sure, for sure. And then we have, I'm just pulling something up real quick, but we have Matthew talking about ERX, and it looks like I'm actually on the website that manages this ETF. It looks like they are the 2 times leveraged ETF for daily energy bulls. So basically just an energy ETF that is leveraged. So let's take a look at this one. How's it doing, Tom? You see any levels? I see that it pulled back a lot over like the past month or so, and it bounced off that 22 support pretty well. It's starting to pop back up. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to see levels on it. It's a very volatile mover. I think that over the next few months, we'll start to see this start to go up again like we are. I like that support around $20. It's kind of hard to see, though. Whenever I go to an intraday chart, they're really up today. They're getting close to resistance, possibly around 24, like right where they're at, or 24.50 later on. But if they break that, it looks like a pretty good setup. They're now moving above all of the SMAs, and I really love that big green candle breakout above that 1,000 SMA right there. That was a pretty good resistance for them over the past few days, and they've hit that a couple times and went down. So I really like that 1,000 above that 23 level too. I think it'll be pretty good, but just make it break above 24 where it is right now. And just keep in mind that over the next few months, this is going to be very volatile. It'll have big swings where it's up and down 20 to 30% over the course of a couple weeks.
All right, and then we have a lot of people talking about Clove, CLOV. It's actually running up a lot this morning, basically going straight up this morning. It's up around 8.5%. We have IV rising too, and the only news I'm seeing on Thinkorswim for today is that they're going to report their first quarter earnings on May 17th. So I don't know. There might be another catalyst that goes along with this. I know that they have a pretty high short interest. Their short float is like almost 36%, which is definitely pretty high. So maybe it's like a combination of a short squeeze maybe, and just like a bounce off of support, because I know that they were bouncing off that like $9 level a couple times. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good, actually. It's looking like a good runner. It's moving off those SMAs, off the supports as well, which is awesome. And then they're getting pretty high. They are getting close to those resistances, but it looks like they're very strong. They might break out on that daily chart. That it's looking very strong. I know a lot of people have been talking about this one a lot, and it's been very volatile. We'll see days like this where it rises from 720 all the way up to 920, and then over the next week falls all the way back down to 720 again, and then has another green candle up to 1020. So this is a very volatile mover, and when it runs, it runs. And today it's just one of those hot stocks, and on the 1 minute, it looks like it's just not going to stop right now. The high right now is $10.15, and we're just going to have to see how high this can keep going today. It's actually very volatile and probably my favorite stock that we've seen all morning.
Very interesting. So then we have Sean saying, is holding Workhorse cash secured puts through earnings a dumb idea? So I wouldn't call it a dumb idea. The odds are in your favor. You know, you're selling options ahead of earnings. that's a good thing to do. One thing to keep in mind is that if some crazy news comes out or if they report terrible earnings, you might get killed on those puts. So it's not a dumb idea. The odds are in your favor. Just understand that there's a little bit more risk involved if they were to report horrible earnings. But I would say in general, it's okay. Just understand that there is more risk involved. And then we have a kid talking about Facebook. So let's take a look at Facebook, Tom. I know it had a pretty choppy morning. It's up around 1.5% today with that gap up. They pulled back right before open, but now it looks like they're popping back up a little bit. What are you seeing?
Yeah, and Mike, hey, close that live news again really
Yep,
quick.
oops.
But Facebook is looking awesome actually today. It was looking pretty bad at first, but it came down, hit support or hit the resistance here around 306. I think it's looking pretty decent. The 1000 SMA is looking pretty good on it as well. Hit that this morning and pop back up. I think 310 is posing as a good resistance, though. It's been pretty hard to break that today. And we can see on the 1-minute chart how volatile it's been, falling pretty significantly and then rocketing right back up. And it kind of reminds me of what AMD looks like. AMD looks very similar to this right now. And I would kind of expect Facebook to maybe keep going up. If we look at that daily chart, it's not looking too good. I would say over the past 2 days, it's looking bullish rather than bearish. But just given what I'm seeing with some levels and the way we fell below this blue trend line right here, I'm kind of bearish on them. But we'll just have to see what happens. They're an amazing tech stock. And if the overall sector pops, they'll probably pop. And with everybody being online and stuff, they're probably going to have great ad revenue whenever they report earnings. And I'm just, sometimes Facebook goes down on earnings where the ads didn't perform as well or something like that. So be careful because the earnings could always go differently. But usually the ads usually do pretty good, and Facebook's normally good, especially during times like with COVID where more people are online than usual and stuff like that. I could see them having pretty good earnings later.
Well, Tom, keep in mind, they might report great earnings. They might, just smash their expectations and, report better than expected profits, and they might fall like Microsoft,
Yeah, exactly. That could really happen. And let's go look at Microsoft and see what happened with them today. Yeah, look at them. They're even coming down today even as well. And man, it was just a big fall yesterday in after hours, even though they beat that EPS and they had some of the best revenue since 2018. And man, it's insane to hear numbers like that. The best revenue growth since 2018, and then the stock is down 3% today on a huge blue chip stock like Microsoft. It's insane to see. And maybe some of this stuff like the chip shortages and stuff like that have something to do with this. But man, I would just expect them with the EPS, and they're still making a lot of money, to go up. But it's crazy to see. And this is why I don't play earnings. And I feel like I've said that 10 times this morning already. But with all these earnings going on, that's just how it really goes.
Yeah, like I'm literally reading through their earnings report, and it's like, all right, they beat on this, they beat on this. The chip shortage helped them here. It increased PC sales. Then they did this, and it was like all great news. And then their stock tanks. But that's the market. Sometimes crazy things happen. Honestly, with this whole scenario, I just kind of want it to fall more so these put premiums can rise, and I can get a good deal on cash secured puts. So maybe if we see it like continue to fall in that IV. If that IV rises, I think that could be a great opportunity for some cash secured puts. And then we have, we have Jerry saying, Mike, I'm in CHPT calls. So I know we were talking about this one yesterday. This one actually has a crazy high short float. So let me pull up the exact number, but I want to say there was like a 75% short float. Something crazy. Yeah, 75% short float. So there's definitely a risk of a short squeeze here. Plus, they are in the EV sector. So I like it. I like the setup. I mean, I would just get time on it. I'm not sure which calls you got, but I like the setup.
Yeah, me too. And overall, it's looking decent. I really like it off these supports at $20. I think it's going to follow a lot of these value stocks that have been moving like this lately as well. But I really love it off the supports, and it looks pretty good. It has a green day so far today. Hopefully, it can continue that. I'd say if we break above $25, it could be a pretty good runner.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's check in on what's going on with the market. We have the SPY rebounding. Tom, we're getting pretty close to those all-time highs. Especially with the way the market's moving right now. You think we're gonna break them?
Man, I'd really think that we really might today. I mean, the unfortunate thing is like we see Microsoft red, we see AMD red. So with some of these stocks going red, it might be hard, but I would think that we break it before Biden and Powell talk later. Maybe Biden and Powell talking will be what finally forces the market above this resistance, but we'll just have to see what goes on. Personally, I feel like that it's probably going to fall later on today, which is an unfortunate thing, but we'll just have to see what goes on. I think if Powell just maintains his position, then it might push this up, showing that they're just going to keep rates low and they're going to keep obviously putting money into bonds and different things like that to help the market. And it's just good to see the SPY moving like this. I'm glad it's up here and it's not consolidating lower. If it was lower, I would be even more bearish on it for these speeches tonight. But overall, right now, the way it's running, it's looking pretty good. And whenever we go look at banks like Bank of America, it's doing decent today. And a few other stocks, even like Exxon Mobil, is doing great today, up 2%. Crude oil is up today as well. So that could be helping out the markets in a small sense. And there's just a bunch of stuff going on. And overall, I love that SPY doing great today. Hopefully it can come back up. We're getting close to that 418.20, 418.25 resistance. And I think that's going to be a good level. And it looks like we're going to hit that over the next few minutes here.
Alrighty. And then we have Sean saying, thanks, Mike and Tom. Live is awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Let us know what stocks you're watching. Tom and I will cover them. Also, text stocked up to 39970. We have a phone number that we're going to be sending market updates and stocked up alerts and a bunch of cool stuff, just related to the stock market. So feel free to text us. All the info is towards the top of the screen. Then we have Jerry saying, Tom, you tried to get me to play Tesla puts. Tom, this is simp.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I was trying to tell him not to play those puts, and man, that was hilarious. Of course I saw this and I saw Tesla going down in after hours off of those earnings, and I was like, man, I feel bad because I told him not to get those. But if he would have got him, he still wouldn't have made too much yesterday. I remember we were looking, and the puts were only up like what 5 to 10% maybe at open, or yeah, at open at what.
Well, the thing is, most of the puts were down. There were like only a couple puts that actually finished up, and they were like all like deep in the money. So, even depending on what option, he might have lost money either way.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the main thing is you still might have lost even though even though you wanted those. But in the end, I didn't want you to get them. That's for sure. I would never play Tesla before earnings. That's for sure. Especially to the downside. I mean, usually they go up on earnings. I will say, earnings are 50-50. But if anything, I would have grabbed calls on them as a bet, just given their past performance.
Alrighty. And then we have Trevor saying, have a look at Amazon looking to sell today. So, Amazon actually reports earnings. Is it today or tomorrow? Let me pull it up. I think it's tomorrow, right? Tomorrow after close. Yep, it's tomorrow after close. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just going to depend on what goes on with Powell later today. Right now, we have the market inching up, which is great to see. Amazon has all-time highs right around $3,552. So we're about $100 away. They have a resistance right around $3,460. So it's not looking bad. But yeah, I think Powell's going to have a pretty big impact on what goes on throughout the rest of the day. But so far, Amazon's definitely creeping up.
Yeah, looking fantastic, actually. That 3460 resistance is going to be, I think, a pretty good level today. We're getting very close. This could be what's driving the SPY up, is stocks like Amazon right now really ripping. That's obviously going to really help. And they had that split, that split rumors a few days ago. So they had those rumors of a possible stock split, and who knows? Hunter called out a 10-to-1 split. That would be awesome to see this stock at like $345 over the next couple years. That would be amazing. But I don't think it's going to be a 10-to-1. Hopefully it's like 5-to-1 or something like that. But if 10-to-1 would be amazing. But I know that people have been talking about this stock splitting for quite a while now, just given how high the stock has been for the past few years. And we've seen things like Apple and Tesla split even, and everyone's been expecting Amazon to do it, and they just haven't done it yet. And I don't know why that is. I know that there's something fundamental behind that reasoning, but I think that in the future here they will start to do that over the next couple of years, especially with the rumors of it starting. I think that then they're gonna do it then over the next few years. Obviously, with those rumors, sometimes the companies put out those types of rumors and stuff just to kind of obviously get that into people's heads too.
All right, and then let's see. We have Google towards its highs. We have Boeing tanking this morning. Boeing's down around 3.5%. They're pretty close to their low of day. Let's take a look. We have whoa, wow, Tom. We have Enphase down almost 15%. I'm gonna actually put this one on my watch list. I'm probably gonna sell some cash secured puts on this one. So yeah, yeah, it's actually a good catch. I'm glad I said that. So I like Enphase for cash secured puts. The premiums are. Oh, I mean the premiums are up, but there's nothing crazy with them. So I like Enphase for cash secured puts, and yeah, that's what's mainly moving right now. We have CCIV creeping up today, Tom. It's up around almost 3%, which is great to see. Intraday, they're trending up, which is awesome. And then we have, let's see, we have Kid saying, speaking of earnings, NIO. I was gonna hold through earnings, gamble. So let's take a look at NIO. They do have earnings, I want to say, tomorrow after close. So I'm not sure what options you're holding, but as you already know, holding through earnings are a complete gamble. Sometimes it can work out great, and sometimes it can work out not so great. But yeah, it's a complete gamble. I like it for the long term though. So maybe if you wouldn't mind holding shares for the long term, maybe if you just sold like a slightly out of the money put and kind of use that as like a win-win if you want to hold the shares for the long term. But I'll definitely have my eyes on it. It'll be a pretty big earnings.
Yeah, for sure. And even Tesla fell on their earnings. So keep in mind that if you're holding this and you want it to go to the upside, Tesla just fell on their earnings. So NIO might fall as well. Sometimes the stocks follow each other. Obviously, each company's different though, and they'll each report their own earnings. But in the end, sometimes they follow each other, just given that they're both EV stocks. And just be very careful. I personally would not take a gamble on that one, but that's just me personally. If you see something, trust your gut. But overall, I think it would be pretty risky to do that.
Alrighty, and then let's see. We have with the next question, we have Jorge saying looking to add more ENPH at 140. Right now it's sitting right around 145, so I like the level. I'll probably sell a cash secured put maybe at like 130, 120, depending on the premiums. And then we have Rara saying, love the live, guys. What are your thoughts on SKLZ for today? So I know ARK was really buying the dip with this one. They also have earnings pretty soon. I like them for like the next couple months or so. For today, they have like a pretty strong support right around like 19, and they are making a lower high. So I'm definitely not too bullish on them, but I'm also not bearish because they held that support really well. So I'm just really neutral on them, and unless they like start making a higher high intraday, or unless they break below that 19 support. What do you think?
Yeah, 19's a great level on it. I think it's looking pretty good today. I don't like the red candle on the 15-minute right now. Over the past few minutes, it's been dipping down pretty hard. I don't know what to think about it intraday. I'm just more neutral to slightly bullish, I'd say, on it. But over the long term, it looks pretty good. I love it off these lower supports down here. And it just looks like a very volatile stock, though. Personally, it's not my favorite one in the world. I'd rather get ones like Palantir and like Blink, BLNK, or PLUG down here at the bottom rather than SKLZ. But anything that ARK buys and Kathy Wood's looking at is fantastic. And I just want to let you guys know, sorry if you can hear the thunder in the background. It's thunderstorming pretty bad by me.
Alrighty. All right. With the next question, we have Young saying, love the live. I am holding a 175 strike call option on Qualcomm for 7/16 expiration. So let's take a look at it. That is past the all-time highs. I like Qualcomm. They have earnings pretty soon. They actually have earnings today after close. So hopefully it pops up for you. It's kind of a gamble right ahead of earnings. It is pretty far out of the money, to be honest with you. So you're definitely going to need a pretty strong move over the next couple months to have this one work out. But I'm definitely a fan of the stock for the long term, and hopefully we get a strong earnings report for you.
Yeah, and what a morning on the day of earnings. I mean, it just tanked from 138 to 136 and then just recovered all the way back up to 138. And, we've seen a few stocks do this today where they dipped down and recovered all the way back. We're just going to have to see what happens with those earnings after close today. Personally, they're another chip stock, kind of like AMD, and I would personally expect them to do pretty well. And Qualcomm makes a ton of phone processors and processors for your cell phone, so that's where they're big at. They make the Qualcomm Snapdragon, which has been amazing. So, but make Qualcomm really pop above 141. I think that's a great resistance level there. If it breaks that, there's a lot of room to the upside to like 150, even 160 or 170. So just make it break 140 to 141 though. I think that'll be a very key level, and over the past few days it's posed as a great support,
All
or
right,
great
Tom.
resistance I should say.
Tom, you gotta check out the SPY. We're getting so close to all-time highs.
Yeah, there we go. I think we're actually going to hit it. I mean, we broke the resistance around 418 25. Now we just have to hit 418.50 here. It looks like we're going to intraday. Looking very good here. You know, a lot of these stocks are really ripping up today, like Amazon, like we were talking about. Amazon just hit 34.69, broke out above that 34.60 level, which they're now hitting off of right now. But just a great day overall for the market. Right before Powell and Biden talk later, I'm not sure if this is a good sign before these speeches or a bad sign, but obviously it might be a good sign since people are buying things up. But in the end, it's all just going to matter on what they say and in the tone of voice that they say certain things. And I'm really going to be watching Powell. Biden speaks at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so he's not really going to affect too much today. Powell's going to be more of the focus for today. Biden, I think, is going to have more of a focus on tomorrow morning, and futures overnight on like slash ES and on slash VX, which are the VIX futures.
All right, and then we have Ron saying there's talk of an Amazon stock split. Is the best time to buy before they announce the split, or wait till after the split and then try to pick up the shares when it starts to fall? So in these scenarios, I treat them as like a buy the rumor, sell the news. But if you just plan on holding them, you probably just want to buy in before they actually announce the split. We could see, what was that, yesterday or 2 days ago, how Amazon popped up out of nowhere on rumors that they will split soon. It was on, what was it? It was on the 26th, like in the middle of the trading day. So you'd probably want to buy in sooner rather than later. Because once that deal is confirmed, the stock normally like skyrockets. Like if we look at Tesla and Apple, they both popped on this catalyst. So I would probably just get in sooner rather than later if you are looking to trade this catalyst. And then we have Power saying watching forward to the downside. So let's take a look, Tom. Not sure if this is like a day trade or a swing trade, but it's definitely pulling back intraday. They have a pretty strong support right around $12.40. So if we break below that, it could get pretty scary.
Yeah, and Ford even has earnings coming up as well, so watch out for that also, but it's not looking good today. I know Ford and General Motors have both rocketed up so much this year. Just don't be surprised if we see like little pullbacks like this over the next few days, but Ford is going to report today after the bell as well, so be very careful holding any Ford calls or puts here through earnings, especially with what's going on right now. They've been spending a lot of money on research and development to get these electric vehicles going, which has helped their stock. But in the shorter term now, it might kind of hurt them because they've been spending so much.
All right, and then we have Jerry saying CHP is printing. Looks like it's above $25. Let's take a look. Yeah, it is above 25. That's awesome. Jerry's been on fire, Tom. He's been just doing an amazing job. So that's awesome to see. And with these short squeezes, like they move exponentially. Like remember with GME, it just like kept exploding more and more and more each day. So definitely be on the lookout for that. That doesn't mean that CHP is going to move like GameStop will. I think GameStop had like 110% or 120% short float, something crazy like that. CHPT has a high short float, but it's nothing like GME. But definitely be on the lookout. I really hope it pops up for you. You're doing an amazing job, and it's looking pretty good today.
Yeah, for sure. CHPT is looking awesome. I love it above 25, like you said. That would have been a good entry right there. And now it's looking like it's consolidating at those after hours highs, those highs of after hours yesterday. And now it's starting to come down a little bit. Overall, though, it's still a great runner today. Could easily keep going up. I love the stock. on the daily, I really love it off those supports, like I said, around $20 to $20.50. Just great levels there. Hit it around 3 or 4 times in the past, and then went up significantly. And still, there's a ton of room to the upside. Highs around $50, and we're around 25 right now. So you could almost double your money if it goes back up to all-time highs.
All right, and then we have Rah saying, I have a call on GLD for the May 21st expiration. What do you see this stock doing? So I like this stock, but I think it would be smarter to get more time. The May 21st expirations only have, let's see, they only have like 23 days left. So I'm not sure what strike price you have, but I think it would be a smart decision to buy more time. This is a pretty slow moving asset, you can say. So I like the setup. I just think you should get more time, but always trust your own gut. And I'm not sure what strike price you currently have. But then we have Molina saying Boeing is dying. Maybe a dead cat bounce here. So let's take a look at it. BA is down around 3.5%. And it looks like we are bouncing. So, yeah, we actually might see a dead cat bounce right here. We won't know this until a couple more hours. But, yeah, good eye right there. I can definitely see it. They bounced off this 234 level a lot of times in the past. So, it's definitely acting as a pretty strong support.
Yeah, for sure. And Boeing just reported earnings as well. Hopefully it can hold this on the daily. It's personally not looking too good to me. I think it's looking more bearish than bullish, if anything, especially with these earnings not going quite as well. At least it was better than their negative 15 EPS the last time they reported. And that was weird to see, Boeing reported a negative 15 EPS for the first time in forever, probably. And their stock ended up popping from 200 all the way up to 280 over the next couple of weeks off of those terrible earnings. So that just goes to show you the earnings, sometimes they just don't even matter for the stock, really.
All right, and then we have Muscle saying, watching NVIDIA. It's been on a run for a few days. Baby needs shoes. So let's take a look at it. NVIDIA is up a little bit today. It has some momentum this morning. It has a really strong support at $600 and a pretty strong resistance right around $650. I really like this stock for the long term. They're in their middle of the range right now, so I'm not really bullish or bearish on it, but it's definitely running up, which looks pretty good, and they're definitely a powerhouse.
For sure. I love NVIDIA. We're going to have to see how it goes. I mean, unfortunately, it's up a lot today. It might start to pull back like we're seeing, but overall, it had highs of 626 yesterday. Maybe we can go up and hit those again today. I think it'll be great if we see AMD and these other stocks like Qualcomm really popping off their earnings. And let's see AMD again today. Wow, continued to just fall off all morning long, all the way down to $86 now. They pretty much lost all of their gains from their earnings, unfortunately. So just bad movement out of AMD, unfortunately, here. And I know a lot of people expected this to go up, but AMD has actually been a great mover over the past couple weeks, going from around 79 all the way down here at this great support. It hit off of it like 5 or 6 times, all the way up to $90 over just a few days. So for you guys who were trading this range, congratulations, because it was a great setup.
All right, and then we have Matthew saying, what are your thoughts on Tesla? So Tesla actually had an amazing bounce this morning. It wasn't looking too good in after hours, but they actually went from red to green. They were getting so close to that support right around $690, and now they're above 700 again. So they're definitely not going down without a fight. They're looking pretty good. They're actually right above that support at $705, which acted as a really strong support level yesterday. So what do you think, Tom? I mean, it's really showing some momentum right now, and it's I think it was a pretty good sign that it's above 700.
Yeah, me too. I think that's an awesome sign. Hopefully it can hold 700 now that we passed back above it today. And we've seen it go below 700 a couple times in after hours over the past couple weeks. And that's just the crazy thing to see is it seems like every time it falls under in after hours or something, it gets bought right back above it, which is a great thing to see. We're sitting right at that 1,000 SMA right now. There's some pretty good green candles coming in here. Hopefully we can break this. If we can break out here above 708, I think it would be a pretty good day trade. If you wanted to get a quick scalp on some calls, maybe 708 to 710 or something like that could be a pretty good move.
Alrighty, and then we have Click saying Clove is flying. It definitely is. It's up around 11.5% today, and it's actually pulling back a little bit. It actually hit highs right around $10.60. It looks pretty good. It has a lot of momentum right now. I like the setup overall. I know they have a relatively high short float, nothing crazy like GME or CHPT, but I think it's definitely a good setup. And their next major resistance, as long as they break, let me pull this up, as long as they break $10.60, their next major resistance is until like $11. You see any other different levels?
Yeah, I mean, really, I think that those are the pretty key ones right there. Intraday, there's a pretty key level here around $10.30. If you're looking intraday only on that daily, unfortunately, it looks like there's a pretty good resistance there around 1050, like you said. I mean, it hit that a few days ago and then went down pretty significantly. But it looks like just given the setup we're seeing today, it might break it or either today or tomorrow. We'll just have to see. But overall, the movement's not looking good right now. It was looking great this morning, and right now it's just looking like a pretty good pullback. But there is a good intraday support here around $10, $10.03, $10.05, somewhere right around there. So just watch out. But yeah, we are seeing some good negative momentum here, and it's just a lot of these stocks fly and then they pull back a little bit later. So at open, trade that
Can
momentum
you
up,
take
get that
care of
momentum,
them?
ride it to the upside. But just keep in mind, you got to take profits at some time or another because we do see pullbacks like this, obviously, as the day goes on.
Sounds good. And then we have, let's see, we have I'm Fearsing was in GSX at $33.38 and sold at the high at open, which hit my mark. So GSX actually is really popping. It's up around 11% today, which is awesome to see. They actually had a huge bounce from a couple weeks ago, which is just awesome to see. I know that they were involved in the Archegos like margin call. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's actually looking great today. I mean, we've been talking about this one for a few weeks, and it just keeps breaking out and breaking out even more. I cannot believe we're talking about this being at $36. I remember whenever me and you were talking about it, we were trying to get it to break above 30 even, and now we're at 36. Just great moves out of GSX. I really like it actually. On the 1 minute chart, it was looking good. We do have some like lower highs going on right now intraday, but it's been a great stock over the past few days, and it really likes to run in the morning and then maybe fall off towards the middle to end of the day. So just watch out for that to happen again today. But overall, great stock. GSX has been amazing, and I think we talked about this the first day we went live, Mike, and it was doing fantastic even back then.
For sure. And then we have Dennis saying PayPal is popping. So it actually is. It's up around 2% today. It's breaking its intraday highs right now. It looks pretty good. They also have earnings pretty soon on May 5th. They have a really strong resistance right around 270, 275, I want to say. Let me double check. 278 to be exact. And then another resistance right around 275. So it looks pretty good. Just be careful for that resistance overhead. It's definitely a pretty strong resistance. Like I said, 275, and then like the 278 area. And then there's even some more resistance right around 280. So just be on the lookout for that. Then we have, let's see, with the next question, we have Sam saying, MVIS, any thoughts on a trend for this one? So MVIS, Tom, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. I mean, we have earnings in 2 days, so definitely be careful there. But overall, pretty good double bounce down here around $19.40. Pretty good moves. I think if we can hold this 100 SMA here and break above it, maybe if we could go above $24, it would be very bullish, possibly back up to 28 or 30. That would make me a lot more happy with it. I know that Microvision MVIS has done so good over the past few days that don't be surprised if it keeps going down here. It's not my favorite setup in the world. It's a very bullish setup, but with that being said, it's just such a low price stock. And given what we're seeing, the last time it popped like this, it popped up to 24 and then fell all the way back down to 10. So over a 50% drop there. And I think it could do that again, possibly. Just be very careful. It's just one of those stocks that you never know what it's going to do.
Alrighty, and then we have Joel saying Square looking strong from here. First time on the live stream. Great stuff, guys. Let's get another look at that new studio. Yeah, I got to make some more videos with that studio background. Thanks for joining in on the live stream. And guys, if you're new here, let us know what stocks you're watching. Let's take a look at Square. It looks like they're actually going from red to green, which is an awesome sign to see. They have support right around 254, which is good. And they have some resistance right around like 260. And then after 260, they have more resistance right around like 267, 270.
Yeah, for sure. It's overall just a great looking stock on Square. I think they're going to be great for the longer run. For the shorter term, I don't know what's going to happen. Looks like they double topped up here around 280 and they have earnings coming up. So the earnings could either help push them up or above 280, or it's just going to prove to us that this double top is what it really is, and then we're going to see Square fall. So it's going to be a pretty volatile week, I think, out of Square. It moves pretty significantly sometimes with their earnings, and I think that it's going to have a pretty big impact on the stock this week. So be very careful. We are nearing this intraday resistance around 257.50 to 258 here. So hopefully we can break above that and then head up to 260, like you said, because 260 is like the main resistance here.
Alrighty, and then we have John saying, what are your thoughts on ZM for the monthly time frame? So I'm actually a huge fan of ZM. I really like them right now. I think that they are at a pretty awesome price, and I think that they will continue up over the long term. I really like them for a dip buy. For the short term, anything can happen, but I just know for the long term, I'm a pretty big fan. If you are looking at any specific levels, they have a pretty strong support right around 300, and then they have another resistance right around 350, and those are the main levels to watch out for, but I think that they will do pretty well over the next couple months.
Yeah, me too. And Zoom is bouncing pretty good off that support. Hopefully, they can kind of recover up, like you said. I think that they will innovate and kind of get back in with the game here. You know, they're down quite a bit from their high as well, so there's a lot of room back to the upside. And I personally think that they're going to innovate and kind of get back up. I don't see them falling back down to 150 or 100 a share at all, especially given what they do. And just look at how much money like Zoom and stuff has been generating, and then we go look at a stock like GameStop, for example, which is around the same price, around 167, 168. So personally, I think that Zoom could be a pretty good stock here to kind of hold for the longer run, especially since we're seeing some of these other stocks, kind of like GameStop and stuff, still holding up. I think that Zoom will definitely hold up then, given their financials too.
Alrighty, and then we have Sean saying, can MS bounce off of the 100 SMA on the 1 minute chart? So, Tom, what's going on with the SMAs with Morgan Stanley?
Yeah, it actually did it. It hit right off the 100 on the 1 minute and bounced right to the upside. So if he would have trusted his gut and got in right there at around that 82.10 level, it would have been a great entry on a very quick scalp with some calls, possibly, depending on how the calls were priced and how they moved. But pretty good move there from 82.10 up to around 82.45. Not the biggest move in the world, but still a pretty solid intraday setup off that 100 SMA. And sometimes, like whenever you have SMAs or you have supports and resistances, if you trust them and you trust your gut, and you, like for example, you buy a call right here, and then if it starts to fall down, you can cut it very quickly for a stop loss with very minimal losses right there, or you can hold it and let it go up. Normally, those are pretty good entry levels there because it gives you pretty good high risk or low risk, high reward scenarios to where, for example, it might fall from 82.10 down to 82.05, and you cut those calls for a quick 3% loss, or you can hold them for a quick 10 to 15% gain there on that 40-cent move. So you're only losing 5% to make 30 to 40%, and that's really the main goal right there. And that's only though if you see the opportunity and you trust your gut, because you have to time it right and get in off that initial bounce, or else it won't work.
All right, and then we have Matt saying, can Facebook still pop further past 310? So they have a really strong resistance at 310. If it does break above that, it has a pretty clear shot up to 315. I'm watching it right now. It's not doing bad. It's just kind of like lingering around all-time highs. They are ticking up, which is awesome to see. I really like the setup right now. And like I said, as long as they hold that 310 level, they have a pretty clear shot up to 315.
Yeah, I think so too. And Google reported great earnings yesterday as well. So I think that, and especially with their YouTube ad revenue, that was pretty good. So I think that Facebook's ad revenue might be pretty good here for their earnings over the next couple weeks. And it's just going to be amazing. We're sitting here getting close to these all-time highs, getting close to some of these trend lines, slightly popping above them. Hopefully Facebook can go up. It's looking like a great stock today, intraday. If we break above 311, let's just say. I think it would be an amazing runner today. We're up around 2.3%. Normally we don't see it run more than around 2.3%, so we'll just have to see what goes on, but it looks like a pretty bullish setup to me, especially the way we're running right now, and it looks like we're breaking up, getting close to 311. So guys, watch out for this. If it breaks out above 311, be prepared, because you could get some pretty quick scalps, but always have a good exit strategy too.
For sure. And then we have Slick saying, "What did I miss? I went to make breakfast." All right, let's take a look. So let's see what Slick missed. So we have the SPY pretty close. We have the SPY pretty close to all-time highs. We have CCIV, or Lucid Motors, popping up. They're up around 6% on the day. We had some pretty interesting movement with Square and PayPal, both to the upside. And I know he's looking into crypto, so we have Riot up around 1%. We have Mara up around 1%. So that's just kind of the quick summary. Let's see, like Google, they're pulling back a little bit. Facebook is lingering right around all-time highs, and we have Microsoft not really doing anything. So thanks for checking in. Then we have, let's see, we have Jorge saying also, MVIS has earnings tomorrow. Watch out. So yeah, it's actually a good point. Earnings can definitely be pretty risky. They're getting pretty close to that high of day, right around, you could say, just under $24. And 24 actually acts as a pretty strong resistance. If it breaks above that, it'll look pretty solid. And then we have Rara saying, "I like Palantir for the long term. Excited to see earnings. What are your thoughts?" Well, I share your same thoughts. I like them for the long term. I'm also excited to see what type of earnings they report. I like them. Their options are pretty well priced. Their options are pretty cheap right now too, so you can get some pretty good deals on some leaps, but earnings are always a gamble, but I know I like them for the long term.
Me too. Palantir is amazing. They bounced off that 21 support, like I've said about 25 times over the past couple days. I really like Palantir. It's looking great. It's in the middle of the range between 21 and 28. So just watch out. It's like right in the middle of that. And I think it's going to keep going to the upside here. We're seeing some good movement out over the past couple days. And I love that it held its like 2350 support. Looks like a great support, and it held it very nicely for a pretty good setup here on this 15-minute chart. Looks like we're going to come back up to highs around 24.32. We'll just have to see what happens with it.
Alrighty, and then we have Trevor saying ExxonMobil could run above 58, question mark. So let's take a look. ExxonMobil, yeah, it's getting really close. It's a pretty strong resistance right at 58. Let me just pull up a couple different charts on it. Yeah, it actually is a really strong resistance. It looks like it has the momentum today, though. You know, it's up around 2.5%. One thing to watch out for is that they do have earnings on the 30th. But overall, I actually really like the setup. Thanks for pointing this one out.
Yeah, great movement to the upside, and crude oil is up today as well, 1.41%. Very similar movements over the past few days as XOM, so pretty good stuff. If we see crude really start to break out and break up to the upside, maybe we'll see some good numbers come out with some U.S. oil inventories, or maybe OPEC will have some news or something like that to help it kind of push higher. But looking pretty good here on crude and ZOM overall. I mean, a lot of people are kind of expecting these oil companies to go down over the next couple of years, but it looks like they're actually holding their levels and recovering pretty nicely. But we'll have to see how earnings go in a couple of days.
All right, then we have Mark saying, "Mike, good call on CCIV." Well, thanks for that. CCIV is looking pretty good right now. I think it has a lot of potential to continue up. It's only at 24, which is awesome to see compared to yesterday, but I really wouldn't be surprised if this thing's at like $35 or $40 over the next couple months.
For sure, and there's a pretty solid resistance here at like 24.30 intraday, so just watch out for that one for anyone who's day trading it.
Alrighty, then we have Oliver saying CRM is making a run as well. Let's take a look at it. Tom, what are you seeing?
Yeah, intraday double top here around 238.30, but other than that, it looks like it's pretty good. Like he said, definitely ran today, 235 around, all the way up to 238.30. So great moves. If we can break above this high of day, it could be awesome, but it did post lower highs / double top up here. So just be careful. Intraday, that's usually not the best sign. For example, we'd want to get in somewhere where it's running kind of like it did somewhere around 8:45 Central Time to around 9 a.m. Central Time. That 15-minute time frame was great. Right now, it's looking pretty bearish, and we are seeing some red candles come out of it now.
Alrighty, let's see what's going on in the market. We have NIO ticking to the upside. BABA going up. We have, let's see, CCIV rising, Facebook rising, Boeing bouncing a little bit. We have PayPal rising. We have Pinterest actually consolidating a little bit. Yeah, actually Pinterest is it's consolidating a little bit. Let us know what stocks you guys are watching. Let's see. We have Sean saying thanks a ton. This is incredible. Learning so much. Thanks for that awesome comment. We love to hear that. We have Carlos saying good call on Baba. You guys said you like the setup and it has been bullish ever since. Thanks for that, Carlos. Thanks for all these comments. So yeah, let us know what stocks you're watching. Tom, are you watching anything specifically? Anything with GLD or Facebook or anything?
Yeah, I'm really actually watching Facebook on this 1 minute chart. Facebook actually got rejected up here around this resistance around 310.50 to 310, or from 310.50 to 311, you can say got rejected. Looks like lower highs and a double top there. If you would have gotten in right then, it could have been a great play. Hopefully it keeps going to the downside. It's a pretty bearish setup here overall once that happened. And man, it's just, if it can break below some of these intraday supports here, like around 309, it would be a great move, I think. Overall, Facebook looks good. Let's go check out GLD. I haven't looked at it yet today, but overall, it came right back up to the closing price of yesterday so far. If we go to that daily chart, GLD looks like it's down a little bit from yesterday. Like I said, trying to recover back up a little bit. It was up a lot over the past few weeks, so kind of expect GLD in those stocks to maybe kind of start to maybe not, maybe not fall, but at least kind of consolidate here around where they are with GLD and SLV, which follow gold and silver.
Alrighty, then we have Prime saying, what do you guys think of Fubo? So I actually really like this one. I sold cash secured puts on it. I want to say that expired on maybe April 16th. Let me double check. Yes, April 16th. Yeah, April 16th. So I sold cash secured puts for April 16th and ended up getting assigned on them. And I actually got assigned at $19 each, and I sold out like a couple days later for maybe like $19.50 or somewhere around there. But I wish I held those shares. Right now it's around almost $22.50. I still think it's a pretty good time to get in though. IV is rising, so just be careful with that. I do like the setup though.
Yeah, with sports betting on the rise, Fubo is supposed to be pretty good since they're a sports streaming service, but we're just gonna have to see how they go. Unfortunately, everybody was wanting this stock whenever it was at like $50 and $60 a share. Now it started to really fall down and really change the way people were looking at it. So we're just gonna have to see how it goes over the next couple of years. It had a good support around 25, kind of like Palantir, and a lot of those stocks did, but this one actually broke below it and kept going down, unfortunately. So maybe this stock is just showing that maybe it's just not the best one, but we'll just have to see, because with sports streaming, it's pretty hard to get the rights to a lot of those games and stuff, and we'll have to see if Fubo can really keep up with the game there.
All right, and then we have Sylvia asking about Shop. So Shopify is actually popping. It's up around 11.5% this morning. It's actually lingering right around its high of day at $1,300 right now. I wouldn't be surprised if this one pulls back a little bit and then retests that high later in the day. $1,300 is a really strong resistance, so definitely be on the lookout for that. I do like this one for the long term. I think that they're in an amazing sector for the long term. They actually reported pretty good earnings as well, so I really like it.
Yeah, the stock was moving pretty good off of supports before these earnings came out. And overall, great move today. 11% out of a stock that costs like $1,200. So that's pretty good, guys. Overall, good resistance at $1,300 though, like Mike said. So just watch out for that. But it is actually hitting off of that and coming down pretty hard right now. So we'll have to see how that goes. But like Mike said, great sector. Anything e-commerce is awesome, and they're just a great company overall.
Alrighty, and with some of the other questions, we have Mike saying, looking for Oxy to make a little run soon. So OXY, let's take a look at it. It actually looks pretty good. Actually. It looks good, actually.
Yeah, pretty bullish setup here on the 1 minute chart. Looks like it's really going to break this high of day around 25.85. I'm hoping it pulls through for you. We're hitting a red candle here on the 1 minute, but hopefully that turns around. It looks like we hit off 25.85 around 3 times right now. So we're going to have to see. Looks like a pretty bullish setup to me though, Mike, wouldn't you say? Especially like with crude oil going up too.
Oh, for sure. I like it intraday. I also like it on the daily. So I'm actually really curious to see how this one continues to move over the next couple weeks, I really like the setup. But Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, anything you're watching for today?
Man, Powell speaking at 2 p.m. Eastern time, around 1 hour before at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry, I'm used to Central time, but it's going to be a pretty volatile close to the day. We're going to look at SPY. I'm definitely going to be watching that. It's bouncing off of these all-time highs and just posting red. I don't know what to think. It's trying to break through, but just keeps failing every time it tries. So maybe Powell will help it break through if he keeps reiterating good things that the Fed is doing. Biden speaks at 9 p.m. tonight to Congress, so watch out for that one as well. I think it's going to be a volatile day. Just watching the SPY and watching the VXX. Also, I'm going to be watching some of these crude oil plays like ZOM and Oxy, looking pretty good with crude oil keep going up. I think if crude can go up tomorrow and pass above $64, it would be a pretty good trade out of some of these stocks.
Sounds great. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. We had a great time. Thank you guys so much for joining. We hope you have an amazing rest of the trading.